Welcome back to the channel. Today we're doing something a little bit different. We're actually diving into a game called Match Masters. Match Masters is a unique competitive twist on the Match 3 genre. I've been playing it for several weeks now, me and my wife, and it's actually been super fun. So in today's video, I'm going to be bringing you some tips and tricks to bring your Match Masters experience to the next level. Diving right into Match Masters, if we scroll over, let's take a look and see what game modes are officially available for today's video. If we scroll down, I think for our tips and tricks, we're going to just stick to the Match Rumble mode and the Tournament mode, as these two are probably my favorite. Diving into tip number 1, and that is checking what the modifiers are before selecting your booster. Clicking into Tournament mode here, we see that we have the ability to select which booster we want to take with us in the overall tournament. However, one thing I want to mention before we dive in that every player needs to check, and that is in the top left-hand side, you can see the specific modifiers for this tournament. This not only will help you decide on what booster is going to be the best, but also will give you an idea on how you should play each individual round. If we click up here to the top, we can see it's color climb, which means matching a specific color will increase your multiplier. We can then see that the perks recharge at the start of every round. And then we can also see that there's going to be only 2 rounds with 3 moves each. And knowing this information ahead of time is actually very crucial, because not only will it give you the ability to select whichever booster you think will benefit you the most, but also allow you to know that the perks will reset every single round, thus allowing you to pick whichever perks you think will benefit you the most. Now, diving into tip number 2, and that brings us into a Match Rumble round. At the very top, you can see each player that is in this specific rumble. If you click on the profile image, you can actually see the booster they are using and how many moves they currently have left. The whole point of a Match Rumble is to utilize 5 different moves to hopefully accumulate a high enough score to move on to the next round, and each Rumble has 3 different rounds. Because Match Rumble is a competitive game mode, that means you're going up against other players, and with that, they also have to pick and choose whatever booster they're going to use. One of the biggest things you can do is just double checking each one of the individual boosters and looking for a common pattern. If you start to see the same booster being utilized over and over again, that might be the best booster to use for that specific modifier on that Match Rumble. Alrighty, so then now diving into an actual Match Rumble round for you guys, alright? One of the biggest things we have to take into consideration for this one is there is a score legend at the bottom. This shows that different pieces or matching different pieces is worth more points than the standard 1 point per piece. So again, something you want to keep an eye on here for this individual match. And not only that, for Match Rumble, we're trying to aim for that minimum score that you see set at the top right that will continue to go up as other players increase their score so we can advance to the next round. I'm going to go ahead and try to focus on playing the match as well as doing a voiceover. Diving in here, right off the bat, you can see that we're running behind. We only have 18 points. The minimum is already at 63, so I'm going to use one of my perks right here. It does allow us to accumulate, kind of get the ball rolling, bumps us all the way up to 45 points, which again is not bad. Definitely not meeting the minimum, though, that we need. So we're going to go ahead and try to make a couple of moves. Right off the bat, we're going to match these. We'll drop the purples down to get an extra move, which again is going to benefit us. However, the time is running out, so we're going to make these moves really fast, kind of hasty moves. However, though, we did achieve 104. Look at that. Look at that, 104, barely hanging on here for round 2. And man, dude, the second round is going to be brutal, already at 277. All right, so here we go. So I want to tell you right off the bat is that we do get lucky. We get to use boosters, which again is really awesome. I love this brand new booster. And especially on a 1v1, I think he's a really, really strong one. So he does do his thing, drops the chess pieces on the board. You get to then match those chess pieces, which then do the, sort of horse hop around, again, allowing you to accumulate more points. Once again, we get to use the second round of the chess pieces. There we go. And then here we just kind of snowball for a while, man. We get a second use of our booster here in a second by matching some of our experience. There it is. And boom, here we go. Check this out. We're literally running out of time, unfortunately, but I'm trying the best that I can, man. The minimum score is already at 520. We're way behind at 390. So I'm hopefully being able to accumulate what we can to move on. And we're out of moves. No, and I got my booster full. I did make the 3rd round. As you can see, unfortunately, we were unable to advance to the 3rd round, but I did give it my all with what I had to work with, or what at least I thought was the best moves in the situation. But either way, you guys get a good idea of how Match Rumble works and how the game is pretty much played. Again, this is only one of the many game modes. Now, diving into tip number 3, and that is stealing your opponent's moves. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the previous tip. If you know what your opponent's booster is, and you know that it is a better quality booster like a legendary or an SE booster compared to maybe your booster, which might be a diamond version, it might be in your best interest to actually steal their moves before they can get them. In Match Masters, when it comes to utilizing each individual booster, you have to do specific move sets. So if you're using a standard like diamond booster, it's collecting the blue stars. By getting 3 or more of these blue stars in order, it will actually generate experience, which then will allow you to utilize your special skill that is provided by your booster. However, if you happen to have a SE or a legendary booster, instead of you collecting the blue stars, you are actually looking for the red coins. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're going up against an opponent with a better booster, it might be in your best interest to not focus your blue stars to build your own booster activation, and instead steal the red coins, allowing them to not utilize their booster as often. By not allowing them to utilize their booster as often will result in them getting a lower score and potentially giving you the win. Now, diving into tip number 4, extra turns. Getting 4 pieces in a row will result in getting an extra turn. By getting an extra turn, this will potentially result in you getting more matches, which will then give you more points and potentially allow you to get the win. And this might seem simple. However, I will say from my experience from Match Rumble and from Tournament, I see players far too often sleeping on a 4 match that would have given them an extra turn and some additional points, and instead they hastily try to make a really simple, quick, 3 match to get 5, 10, 15 points, when ultimately they're leaving all of those extra points on the board by not taking advantage of the match 4. Instead, really hone in, evaluate the time you have left, look at all of the options currently available on the board, try to match what you can to get as many match 4s to take advantage of the free turns so then you can continue grinding out more points and potentially get the win. Now, tip number 5, saving your perks. Far too often I see players wasting their perks right at the start of a Match Rumble or a tournament. It seems that a lot of players just get hasty, they don't see a match right away, or maybe they do see a simple 3 match, but instead they think they can accumulate more points right off the start by utilizing their perks. Additionally, I also see some players simply forget completely about their perks and simply never even use them for the entire match. And I honestly think that is a massive mistake. The perks in this game are a large portion of the game's strategy. It can allow you to either lose a match or potentially win based on how you utilize your perks and which ones you specifically use. As for my individual strategy, I actually like to save my perks until the last couple of rounds, whether it's of a rumble or a tournament, as I feel that this gives me the best opportunity at the last minute to accumulate a large amount of points and potentially gain first place. And speaking of perks, my 2 favorite ones that I like to use the most are the Create Lightning and the Star Maker perk. As for the Create Lightning perk during a match, this will throw out lightning bolts randomly on the field of a specific color. If you match with those lightning bolts, it will then do a shock radius around, taking out more pieces, thus increasing your overall score. And as for the Star Maker perk, this will then throw out random stars again on the field. These stars, if you match with those specifically, will give you more experience to then activate your boosters sooner or more often. And the last thing I want to mention before we hop out of today's video is the brand new update introducing private matches. As you can see, if you click private at the top here and you actually set a game code at the very top and you scroll down, you can actually play the individual game modes, everything from Booster Clash, your tournaments, and even your match rumbles via a private session with you and your friends. Now, once you've selected your booster and your individual perks, you want to bring it into the private match, you will then come to this screen, which will show you the code to send out to your friends so that they can join up. Additionally, you can see the bracket system, which will show the semifinals, the finals, and then the final prize. And I really like this new feature. As much as we all like to play with random people on the internet, sometimes you just want to play with a small group of friends, and these brand new private lobbies will allow you to do that. With that being said, though, guys, it's going to wrap up our video for today. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, Match Masters, for sponsoring today's video. Good luck to all of you guys out there with your individual matches. If you haven't checked out Match Masters yet, I highly advise you to do so. You can utilize the link provided down below in the description. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe here on the channel. And with that being said, as always, I'll see ya on the next one.